Now it's my pleasure and great honor, to introduce my friend, Eric Barnum, equity partner at the law firm of Schiff Hardin. Eric is a graduate of UCLA, earned his JD from the University of Pacific McGeorge Law School. He is the former Deputy General Counsel of the National Bar Association. He has made Georgia super lawyers on numerous occasions. He's active in the community. As the longtime chairman of the Future Foundation, I had the privilege of serving on the board with him. He is a distinguished member of the National Employment Law Council, and through that group, he is exposed to the best and the brightest employment attorneys in the United States. We welcome Eric Barnum to introduce Porsche Léonce.
Good evening. So I learned early in my career that if you're not the person people came to see, keep it short. I would like to take just a moment. I know that we're here to recognize Porsche, and Judge Moore's comments really mark the significance of this achievement. But while we're on the subject of significant achievements, if you are an attorney and you've been practicing less than 20 years or less, raise your hand. So I want you to understand the legacy that we follow. We have with us this evening one of the most distinguished members of the bar this town has and will ever know. Charles Johnson has just been elected to the National Bar Association Hall of Fame. And here's what you need to understand. If you are a lawyer of color, you stand on this man's shoulders. Make no mistake that the sacrifices, the hard work, the dedication, the professionalism that he has shown over the length of his career makes it possible for people like you and me to gather here as members of the bar and stand proudly and celebrate this occasion with Porsche. So again, Charles Johnson, 2014 member of the Hall of Fame, National Bar Association. So on to our honoree for tonight. So when Brian called me to introduce Porsche, it occurred to me that I'm probably old enough to actually introduce somebody and have something to say. And then when I was standing over there in a corner and I realized that municipal court judges are now young enough to date my son, I was thinking, wow, I really am moving on up in age. But seriously, I want to take an opportunity to introduce Porsche to you, and many of you know her, but for those of you who don't. She graduated from Campbell High School, right here in the ATL. She went on to receive her bachelor's degree in finance from the university, or from Georgia State University. And then she went to California, where she attended Pepperdine School of Law, where she graduated cum laude. I graduated, thank you, Lord. From Pepperdine University in 2008. She then began her legal career as a judicial extern with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. She started her law firm life at Bingham McCutcheon, where she assisted in providing consultation to clients in matters related to commercial business litigation, including financial institutions, broker-dealers, employment, and environmental law. While at Bingham McCutcheon, she served as the regional representative to the Bingham National Diversity Committee. From there, she moved to Ellerbe Thompson, Sapp, and Wilson here in town, where she advised and represented companies on all aspects of employment law, including defense litigation, discrimination, harassment, retaliation, wage and hour, and all the where, what, where, when, and hows of employment law. I met Porsche, I guess it was 3, maybe 4 years ago now, at the National Employment Law Council annual conference in Washington, D.C. And here's why that's significant. So there's a bunch of old guys at NELC like me, and we're sitting around, regaling each other with how impressive we are as lawyers. And so we all decided that we were gonna go to the W in Washington, D.C., and if you've been there, it's on the rooftop and it overlooks the White House. And we're all gonna sit around and have a couple drinks and smoke cigars. And so we invited Porsche and some friends to join us, thinking there's no way these younger folks are gonna come hang out with a bunch of old guys like us. What struck me though is that not only did Porsche show up, but she brought some friends and she engaged us as peers. She was poised, confident, well-spoken, unintimidated by the relative experience in the room. I knew then, as I know now, that she was destined for great things. But in addition to her legal career, she is also very involved in our community. She's a member of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, or GABWA, as you all know. She is involved with the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. She is a Cool Sister mentor with Cool Girls, Inc. So in addition to giving back and being dedicated in her professional life, she continues to lift up those who need it in her personal life. That's real dedication. That is real commitment. I want you all to just understand briefly the impact of why I'm standing here. I'm a defense lawyer in employment litigation. So we litigate against one another. But I think the fact that I am here to help Porsche launch her career is a testament to who she is. I am proud of what she has done. I'm honored to be a member of the bar. And it is my sincere pleasure to work with her, both collaboratively and, when necessary, adversarially. But I know that I will never, ever have a question about the integrity, the professionalism, the dedication of this woman, this member of the bar. So please join me in welcoming to the podium tonight the founder of Leonce Law, Porsche D. Léonce.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Judge Gundy, and certainly Judge Moore, for your perspective, for your well wishes. It is a real honor to me that you all accepted my invitation to be here today. It's such a privilege to be able to love what you do and to be able to get other people interested in it and get people out at an event so you can hear me speak about it. So I really do appreciate that. I have practiced employment law for the entirety of my legal career, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else. And I will try and explain to you briefly why I'm so passionate about it. And it's really based on laws like the Civil Rights Act, which prohibit discrimination in the workplace. Laws like that create essentially a code of conduct in the workplace, right? So it says you can't behave a certain way when you're at work. You can't discriminate here. That's the goal of the civil rights, to say when you come to work, you can't make comments that are offensive to people based on their race or their religion or their nationality. You can't take action against someone in their employment because of any of those personal characteristics. And so the goal really is to create this safe place where we can all come together and where we can work together in an environment that is free of discrimination and harassment. And so it's that social engineering, if you will, that keeps me passionate about the work that I do. And I'll get off my soapbox because I intend to be brief, but there is still work to be done in that regard. There are people who are still being discriminated against and being harassed in the workplace. And I represent those victims. I represent the African American construction worker who's on a crew of all Mexican construction workers and is being called the N-word every single day in Spanish. And he hangs his head and he takes it because he needs that job. I represent the teacher who is in the room today, who was fired from her job for listening to gospel music and reading religious material in her empty classroom during her lunch break with the door closed. They said, you can't practice your religion at work, you need to keep that at home, but that's not the case, thanks to the Civil Rights Act, that we can all bring our full selves to work. We can bring our race and our religion and our nationality and our sexual orientation to the workplace with us and be proud of that. And that is what I want to further. And so I can't stand up here today and purport to be able to rectify discrimination and harassment in the workplace in my lifetime, though I'm optimistic. But what I can promise is that I will take leadership in that regard, and that is why I started this law firm. That's why I started Leonce Law, to do what I can to further the movement of equality in civil and human rights in this country. So I thank you for coming out, and I thank you for listening to what I have to say today and hearing about my practice. And on the tables that are around, you'll find my business card. And if you ever happen upon someone who might need my services, be it a friend or a coworker, yourself, a family member, if you send them my way, I promise to take care of them. I promise to take care of them. Now, I can't represent every single person that calls me. Some people have been treated unfairly, and they may not have a legal claim to be able to bring that in a lawsuit. But I promise to listen, I promise to be empathetic, and I promise to help them in every way that I can. So thank you for allowing me to do that. Now, I cannot leave this podium without thanking some very, very special people. And these people are particularly special to me because they are family. Leonce Law is a family business. And so I want to introduce you to Keni Leonce, who is my youngest sister. Keni's my sister. She's our intake specialist. Keni is a recent graduate of Georgia State University, where she graduated with honors. I only have her for a year before she goes off to dental school, but I appreciate every moment that she's with me. Keni is one of the most compassionate people that I know, and so I can't imagine anyone else better to help me take calls from people who believe that they've been treated unfairly. She's great at that, and I appreciate the work that she does. My mother is also here, Katrina Leonce. My mom is a public relations professional, and she has been responsible for helping me put this event together, the marketing and business development for my law firm, and so I wouldn't have been able to do this without her, so thank you, Mom. And then lastly, I have to thank a person that's like family, that's like a brother to me, and that, of course, is Brian Poe. Brian is brilliant at so many things, but what he is especially good at, other than practicing law, of course, is bringing people together. And that's what he did here today, and so I'm so grateful and thankful to him and Jamie at Esquire Connect and Brian Poe and Associates for helping me put this event together. Thank you so much. And lastly, I just want to make a small request. And I know many of you are native Atlantans, so you already know what I'm about to say, and that is that Atlanta is so rich in culture, and we have a new gem, and that is the Center for Civil and Human Rights. It's just opened up over by Coca-Cola. It's only been open 10 days, but I had the opportunity to check it out earlier this week, and it is amazing. It is so well done. It It's not your typical museum experience. It is very interactive. You will have an experience that is a good experience when you leave there. And so I was so inspired when I went to visit earlier this week that I got a couple of extra tickets, and I would like to share them. Kenny, would you mind getting that business card thing? So I would like to share a couple of tickets with someone here, and I encourage you all to go check it out. But thank you again, and I'm going to let Brian close us out so that we can get back to the music and the bar and the food. But thank you again very much.